Oh, the retainer. Oh, about that problem that they talked about. I think it was more than that we originally proposed it. 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. This is what we're planning. What they're proposing. The answer was yes. And then come on, and they pay for it. You guys said that capacity. Yep, that's all paid for. Yep. It was, yeah, I think the check came in, they told me they were sending the check before the last meeting. I think the check was Wednesday, after last meeting, so that's all paid for.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I just want to announce we had an executive session and prior to the public meeting on a personnel matter. This time I'd like to recognize the public. We did have a sign-in sheet and I have a couple people in there. If you would please limit it to 5 minutes so we can get everybody in. We'll start with James Zander.
After reading the proposed rough draft of the Conewago Township Data Center Ordinance, I am honestly bewildered as to just what criteria did those who chose the engineer to prepare it actually use for their selecting process. I am even further bewildered as to what intention, related knowledge level, and motivations that the writer of this proposed data center ordinance actually utilized to steer its existing verbiage, if not actually suspicious of the writer's intentions. First off, the verbiage clearly conveys that no data center may self-drill into the existing aquifers. But if the data center wants to pay another entity, likely serious amounts of money, then that entity can then go ahead and just drain our aquifers for them. Seriously? I hope the people who claim to represent us will not allow them a workaround to drain our aquifers. My main topic. The sound section in this draft covers in much detail the sounds we as humans usually hear, but blatantly omits covering the sounds that have been long reported to affect quality of life and the actual health of those who are exposed to it. These are the sounds that fall below the 20 megahertz range and are known to not usually be able to be heard by the human ear. I literally could expose you to this type of infrasound and likely cause you health issues, nausea, balance issues, sleep problems, and even hearing damage, and you would never even hear it happening to you. Did any of you who are listening to me also right now know that I could literally expose you to these non-human hearable infrasounds and cause your heart to have to work harder just to maintain what you're doing right now? Seriously, did you know that? We are kind of curious. And yes, I dare anybody to fact check me on what I just alleged. Late last year at the Bible Baptist location meeting, I openly and audibly conveyed the assertion that data center investors openly prey on our lack of knowledge to attempt to pull the wool over our eyes. I am telling you now that the proposed ordinance is doing more than that. Its current verbiage to their lawyers is a big fat welcome sign. It literally would protect them as their infrasound emissions negatively impact the lives of nearby residents, employees of nearby businesses, and whatnot. The proposed data center ordinance covers L weighting for sound that a human tends to hear. It does not cover G weighting sounds. These are the sounds we humans do not tend to hear, but still can negatively affect living things. To maintain simplicity and transparency so the public and all decision makers can visually see as an apples-to-apples comparison between the already proposed L weighting sound requirements and the existing proposed draft. And in my opinion, there must be added G weighting sounds that a data center would absolutely emit. I have applied an entirely new category in the existing table 1's decibel levels. In my opinion, since infrasound is actually health impacting, I believe these max levels should be at least 5 decibels lower than the human hearable noise levels already existing in the proposed draft. My supplied edition only matches them decibel for decibel. I have included them, they're tables, they're black and white, properly researched. Table 1.1 that I am supplying will cover the health impacting infrasound range that also requires that by me supplying them, extra definitions have to be added into the proposed draft. Below are the needed additional definitions that must be added to protect nearby people from these G-weighted sounds that it does not cover. Thoroughly researched, written, prepared. A copy of this entity should now have been received in each township supervisor's email at 5:40 tonight, about to send ahead. The same for each township planning commissioner's email once forwarded by Aaron. I have also now posted screen pics of this to the Conewago Township Facebook page. My apologies for doing that starting to be. To provide context, I have sought out more research than I care to repeat. Listen to way more quantity of videos deeper diving into this non-human hearing infrasound not covered on the ordinance, and many first-hand reported health facts from people, witness statements, interviews, and whatnot. And I will admit, I use a lot of AI to help write, review, rewrite, review, repeat until this stuff looked good, reading existing ordinance and how it was put together. But now to cover the sounds that none of you are going to know is going to be affecting your health because you won't even hear them. Yeah, I believe AI was justified to protect us from the verbiage in this rough draft that would actually provide legal protections for when they destroy quality of life around these things. Once again, I have a very limited fight in this game because I chose to move where you guys can't affect me. I'm doing this for the rest of people that they don't even realize they're on the front lines of this problem, and they may not realize it until it's too late. So, in closing, I welcome anyone in the decision-making process to show what their level of respect is for this township's residents, who they claim to serve. You have the chance to prove it by actually adding what I have prepared and proposed to cover the stuff that's actually going to affect us that we'll never hear. Your final verbiage in this data center ordinance will literally prove if you serve us residents or big business. It will literally prove if you no longer deserve any place of respect from the Conewago Township residents. They will be your jury. They will also deserve to be your judge.
Thank you, James. James, before you leave, would you let us know, let the community know recorded and what you're doing.
I'm recording on a backup, Brittany Overmiller, bless her heart, she has started recording since I did. Whenever she feeds me to an upload, I can be lazy and not have to do it, I don't mind it. Bless Brittany, I'm glad to have redundancy.
Okay, all right, thank you. Just to let anybody know that, it is being recorded, and it will be on YouTube, I suppose.
If anybody wants a copy to see what I propose in writing, there's extra to hand around and pass around.
Okay, the next one, Mark Chronic, Chronister.
1405 Bremer Road. Two things, they did a fantastic job on Bremer Road pavement, that's one thing. And the other is there any update on the dump department with my neighbor?
No, still working on it.
Still working on it. I called up too messy, I didn't hear anything, so figured out the answer. So we're still.
Still moving forward, yeah.
He's gonna get a letter. He didn't respond to you then or anything? Okay.
No, just a conversation I told you about.
That would be phase 2, a letter, and then phase 3, we
Yeah.
move forward. Okay, hopefully that's quick, sooner or later.
Yeah, and there's several properties around town, we're trying to get all of them. So we're not pinpointing, we're not targeting people, we're trying to be fair across the board.
Understand, totally. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. And before we go any further, I did want to introduce a new member of our board tonight, Evan, what's your last name?
Gable.
And he's with CGA Law Firm. Steve wasn't available tonight, so he's filling in. Thank you. Okay, Sherry Ripito. Without your extra arm there.
Sherry Ripito, 495 Mason Road. I want to pose a question. What does the township do about verifying properties during construction that are actually building what the township approved and zoned? Are we verifying that they are building what they're supposed to be building?
So, yes, we are. If they're doing, in addition to anything to a building, our third-party company, Conewago Code Inspection Services, is out there doing inspections. If they're doing major stormwater projects, et cetera, our engineer is out there, and other smaller projects, we go out and look at them as staff.
Okay, and they're actually making sure that the project is still the project that they signed up for?
That's, yes.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking, okay? I'm asking, oops, I'm sorry. I heard through multiple sources, through, construction workers, truck drivers, that a property on Locust Point is not going to be a warehouse per se, that the leaseholder is turning it over to a data center. There have been residents that have had trucks stopped, they have actually looked at their manifest, and it has that address, and it says data center on it. This is just in the last couple weeks.
Okay.
I also got through the grapevine that a data center was going to be put into a warehouse. So, and I just kind of pushed it aside and waited. So now I'm coming to you guys. How do we verify and address this concern to the public that that is not being slipped in under there, that this developer is not gonna sell out and we're gonna have a data center in a warehouse?
Yeah, that can't be done. They have to reapply if they want to change anything to that.
Yeah, the ones on Locust Point are, I mean, they're still well in construction phase, so they haven't even started moving any users in yet.
Well, I mean, they're doing a lot. I've noticed, like, there's a wall up, and the drainage from that wall, I saw when I was driving by the other day, drains right, like, in the middle of the wall is a drainage pipe, and that's draining right into that house. That's on the other side of that wall. And we know that construction people, they do what they gotta do to get what they gotta get done. I mean, there's a lot of things that haven't been real transparent. We've had to wait till the last minute. I mean, it wasn't a source I've heard this from. It is several sources, and it's coming from all different directions. I mean, one of the persons who actually said this is a data center developer who has passed this information on to us, saying watch out on the slide. I mean, I have a lot of people that talk to me, and I don't share everything I hear, but I'm just saying.
Let's walk through a scenario where they flip the script and turn it into a data center, okay?
Mhm.
What would happen?
Well, we shut them down because they'd be in violation of our ordinance.
Right.
So it could be shut down immediately, the use could be shut down.
So, I mean, we have to follow logic here. I mean, if people are talking and they're gonna put a data center in and not follow the rules, they will get shut down. I don't understand, we're not gonna sit and allow people to violate our ordinances.
Right.
I'm just.
Yeah, no, that kind of frustrates me that if they
There are other
honestly
people-
think they can do that
There
behind
are
our
other
backs.
people that are hearing this, and there are townships that this has happened to, and now they're being.
We're not gonna stand for it.
I'm just saying, I'm just bringing it to the light, I'm not trying to stir any pots, I'm trying to get answers, because if I'm hearing this, there are other people hearing this, and they are questioning the same thing. And a lot of people are too shy to come out and say, as you all know, there are people that come to me about stuff because they don't feel comfortable contacting the township, and then I let you know what they say or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I mean, this is a huge concern. I mean, and I know we don't have an ordinance or anything else together, but to be honest, there's a lot of money tied up in here, and money talks. It talks, it lines pockets. I mean, and this proposed new graft is closer to my house than the other two. So, yeah, I am concerned, and I am watching. I mean, I'm just very concerned.
Right. Thank you, Sherry. The next one, Jennifer Fry.
I also have a couple questions just related to the data center overlay. One of my first questions is, and a lot of this is just asking you to assuage my curiosity. Now that we have the ordinance, but we also have the overlay map, does that exclude, Rexroth and Clingers?
Yes. If it's adopted as prepared, the overlay district is primarily in the industrial zone. So outside of that, they're not allowed.
Okay, so does that mean, Brian, that you'll be participating in the conversation moving forward?
I don't think,
Probably
I
not.
don't think I will, just because, like, I never said a data center was going in. I had a person that was interested in putting one there approached me, and they just wanted to see where it went. I never said one was going in.
Okay.
But I stayed out of the whole conversation just because, and I will continue to do that.
Okay.
I'll continue to stay out, just because of my property was potential for, interest. So, for that reason, I will stay out.
So another thing Jennifer, I just wanna highlight, these are rough, this is a rough draft. Nothing's approved, and in fact, when is our public meeting?
23rd.
23rd.
So that, we wanted to put something out. And I know it already stirred people up and but at least we have something out. It's a framework and we can start addressing points. It's better than going into a meeting and just going randomly all over the place. So now we have some points that we're gonna talk about. Clearly, there's things that we have to dig into, like sound levels, things like that we need to discuss, and flesh out, and as well as the map. So I wanna preface everything that it's not approved, it's now you have something in your hands that we're gonna talk about in the public and get input and start really, defining and shaping that.
And at that meeting, we'll get a lot of the questions answered for you. Thank you.
So as far as that map goes, it's been noted that it includes, properties that are zoned village, agriculture, and medium density residential. And I was just wondering if you would be willing to share your decision-making process there in including those, as opposed to just restricting it to the industrial.
I don't think it included any agricultural at all.
It does.
Do you know, Karen?
There are several, agricultural properties, small properties. They're colored agricultural if you look at the zoning map.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, and it obviously abuts agricultural property.
And the only, reason for the, drawing of that was to go by the road. It wasn't cutting through properties, it was just going by the road.
So are the.
Derek, did you have anything?
No,
Okay.
I draw the line wherever you guys want me to draw the line.
Are the property owners, like the residential property owners, and then, Kemper, are they aware that they are included in this overlay?
I don't know who's aware of it.
Okay. And how, I don't quite understand the nuances behind spot zoning, so how would something like that, like, so we're looking at this map, say that it stays the way that it's been drafted. And we've got Kemper's property, which is zoned village. This is the only open tract of land right now. Everything else has either a warehouse on it, a warehouse being built, or somebody's house. So his would be the only next available property that can be developed. How would that not be considered spot zoning, given that he is village, surrounded by ag and residential?
Well, in the industrial, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the industrial area, it can be, if they ever went out of business, like ES Street, which probably won't, but they could put a data center there in industrial land. So even if the companies would go out of business, you could still put the industrial there.
Between him and I, we wanna address this.
Yeah, just
spot
so,
zoning.
spot zoning is a very specific legal concept, meaning that you kind of pick one parcel or two parcels out of an area and zone it something else that isn't surrounded by that area. So if you were to take a large agricultural parcel that was kind of isolated from any other industrial parcels and zone it industrial, right? That could be considered spot zoning, right? So just having just because one parcel is the only developable parcel in this overlay would not be considered spot zoning, just because that's the only developable parcel.
So it would just be like a conditional use or,
It would be whatever, I don't know how you guys wanna,
I mean, because.
Is your concern about the current zone of the Kemper property being village, or the fact that the overlay includes that property?
Well, both, I'm trying to understand, like, why is it being included in the data center overlay when it's village?
So what I'll jump to, and as John alludes to, it sounds like your opinion is that property shouldn't be included, and that's why we're having a special meeting to talk about that.
Yeah.
The line is around an area, that's to start the
So
conversation.
because he's so opposed to industrial, it wouldn't be considered spot zoning.
correct.
And this is an overlay
Yeah.
too, so this isn't an overlay district, unless we took the overlay and just, again, circle the parcel somewhere else, that would be a spot. This is a cluster in one contiguous overlay, so.
That answers your question, I just didn't quite understand.
I have one question to go with Jen.
Okay, well, wait a minute, we've heard many.
I stopped the timer, it was so much back and forth, I turned it off, so.
Okay, and I just have one more question, and it's about the special meeting. I know that you guys were talking about getting a sound engineer in there to talk to the public, but I haven't heard anything about anybody else. Are we going to have like a fire protection engineer? Are we going to have environmental experts, air quality engineers? Derek, with all due respect, I don't think you've developed a data center yet.
No,
So are
ma'am,
we
I've
going
not,
to
I
have-
don't think to.
Are we going to have a civil engineer with experience to address the public? Like, there are so many levels to development of something like this. And just like James was pointing out, like, this is going to make an enormous impact on everybody within a reasonable distance to something like this. Should a data center be developed here? And not just humans, but livestock, family pets, wildlife, etc. So, are you guys planning on bringing in other experts, or were you just gonna throw a sound engineer at us and call it a day?
No, we're not just throwing the sound engineer at you out of total disrespect for everybody here. We have the attorney who helped draft it, C.S. Davidson, our township engineer, And we were trying to see if the sound engineer, because we knew that was a hot button issue, so we have a sound engineer we're trying to get at this meeting. We did not get every other discipline out there here. This may be the first meeting. If we feel like we need more, we'll have more meetings. Our goal is to have I won't say the first meeting, this next meeting, to have this discussion, continue discussion. We're not deciding on the 23rd. It's not a meeting to hold a final hearing and do it. It's a meeting to continue the discussion and continue the dialogue with us and see what else we need. So it's a step in the process.
Okay. And you will be taking feedback from the community and not
Yes.
just
Absolutely.
the outside
Yeah.
solicitors?
Yeah, so we'll start the meeting with the presentation from the attorney who drafted it. We'll go through it in detail and understand it. If the sound engineer hadn't gotten confirmation yet that he'll be there, but if he can be there, he'll give a presentation. Derek, if he has anything to add to it, can add to that. Then it'll be time for council and the planning commission to ask some questions of those experts, and then we'll open up to the public.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. If you would go to the podium to ask questions, we noticed that people in the audience, it doesn't pick it up on the recording.
I can do that.
Okay.
So many quick questions.
Okay. We are having some things redone. We're gonna have microphones in the ceiling, so hopefully next month.
Hopefully, yeah. All the equipment's been ordered, so we can get the whole, the AV system up and running properly here, so.
So just a real quick question, looking at that overlay map, I sat down with a couple people and looked at it. Odessa is not in that industrial area, how come? They are excluded, yet they are industrial, why are they not in that overlay?
That's just where we do the line again, it's
They
to
can
create
be.
some definition. We didn't grab all
It
industrial.
just seems weird, we did all of that industrial, yet we left Odessa out, and they're a big part right now of change in our neighborhood.
Sure.
So, you know, like that should, I was just
Yeah,
curious.
we can put that on, we can draw the
Yeah,
line
we can
there,
amend
Just
that.
curious why they weren't,
but they wouldn't meet the criteria that we have on there.
because they're commercial, so they would.
Yeah,
be-
but we have 100 acres or more, and they don't have that.
But there are, but in that also, when you say that though, inside of that, there's residents in there that are not 100 acres either, so why are they in that area?
Just because it went by the road.
That's, you're
And I-
contradicting what you're saying.
Not every lot,
So
sure,
that-
it's,
well, let me address that. So some of the smaller parcels, and I will, Jennifer, you are right, there are some ag parcels in here. They're the parcels that were industrial, that were recently reverted back to ag. So I wanna be clear, there's some small ag parcels, but they've been industrial for a long time. What Loretta is referring to is the Odessa-owned parcel that's in the industrial zone land that's north, or if you will, west. Susquehanna Trail's kind of goofy there. So the area that's west of Susquehanna Trail, that little triangle of industrial land is not over 100 acres.
But then we're looking at private land that isn't either, but they're.
Hold on, but the private land is contiguous to other land that could make the 100 acres. So what we're saying is that triangle can't get 100 acres unless it goes into ag land. So we're saying no, because we don't wanna jeopardize the ag land that borders that. Now, again, as everyone said, this is a along the road, and we can pull it in, we can push it out, but at a 10,000-foot view, here are clusters of land that could feasibly be put together to meet that 100 acres. So yes, no individual lot in
I
there.
do think that the residents, all the residents that are now in that overlay, they need a person to knock on their door and a check. It's not right. We put an overlay over private people's homes, it's changing their lives. And I mean, there's elderly in there, there's everyday residents in there, they need a knock on the door.
They will be notified.
And you're saying
Thank you.
that, you're including properties that could make a contiguous 100 acres, so what are you suggesting, that you're gonna take their property by eminent domain?
No.
Why would you do that?
Because that's what they do, that is what they do.
No, that's what they do, but the township has eminent domain power, but there is no reason that the
For us to do
township
that.
would exercise eminent
I would
domain.
hope not. I would hope not.
No.
Data centers talking money again, it's money, money talks.
We're
And things
watching it
move.
happen
We're
all over
watching it.
Commonwealth, where, they're coming in 3 or 4 family homes. So what are you suggesting?
I think we'll have a lot of answers for you on July 23rd. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we have another Jennifer. Jennifer Campbell.
That's not what I'm suggesting. Not our intention.
Okay, Jennifer Campbell, 1480 Conewago Creek Road. This actually kind of question is for you, Loretta. You want us to trust you and trust this township board, but yet, the last meeting, you sat in this back room and you sat next to Smoothing with Bethany Inman and having whatever kind of conversations that you all were having back there, which is a conflict of interest. And you want us to trust you, but someone that you got and let go off the board, you wanna sit back here and have conversations with her? Do you think that's right?
Do you want me to explain?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, when I came to the meeting, I came early. I sat back there, I was all by myself. Next thing, Mrs. Inman came in and she sat right beside me. I did want to get up and move and I thought that would really look bad. So the only thing she was talking about was her little girl. She wasn't talking about anything about the township. She is pretty much done with the township. So she's a private citizen right now, and I came to the meeting as a private citizen just to understand more of what's going on with the planning. So we weren't having any chit chat about anything that would have been in any kind of violation.
Well, I differ on that, because when there was a question pertaining to zoning part of it, she spoke
answered.
right up,
Yeah.
and she answered
Yeah.
for the township.
No, she
Yes,
didn't
she
answer for
did.
the township.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I beg to differ.
Okay,
If you want us to trust you, and you can't honestly sit there and kind of tell in my eyes, the truth. A lot of us are begging to differ
I
on this.
just have a question. How does she answer for the township?
Because there was a stipulation, something towards the zoning.
well, Derek was
Oh,
here.
I can recap what happened. We didn't, I wanna be clear, we didn't ask
For her to answer?
Correct.
Correct. Mark and I and the developer had a conversation, we were having a conversation about how long the time extension we had to act
Oh, that's
on the
right.
Carvana plan. So I asked the question, when does our time extension take us to? And she spoke up in the back and answered September.
But she did, I just so all of you know, she did tell people in the back that she was here to answer any questions that you all may not have known the answer to.
Correct.
She did state that,
Wow.
actually, in
Yeah.
I'll make it clear, she does not work for the township anymore and does not represent the township, clearly.
I get that, but my point of it is, you want us to trust you, and you allow that to happen. All that information should have been relinquished to Mark and the rest of the township, and she shouldn't have ever opened her mouth, when just about every one of us in this room has had an issue with her from day one. And we just let things slide under the rug.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the only other thing is, with the construction site on Locust Point Road, I know you guys can't really do much with this, but the police department does, and maybe you all should actually, speak up and say something to them, and do something on that aspect. Last Wednesday, I was behind a truck coming off of Canal Road Extended. The truck was coming out, it was a Kinsley truck. I didn't catch the truck number. He had 2B stones laying on the bottom of on the back part of the sill panel. And every time he hit a little bump, there was rocks pegging the ground. One pegged my car. He's real lucky I wasn't on my bike, because that's gonna kill somebody, especially on a bike. And my point of it is, nobody wants to speak up. Nobody wants right thing. You go to the cops or whatever, and you make a report, nothing gets done. I even went to the job site, and you can't get in there. I can't figure out who or which one is the foreman. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of Kinsley foremen, I know their owners. I called their number, it automatically goes to voicemail. Kinsley has it to where it's locked. You can't get in and make conversations on any of this. That is a major safety factor. Somebody's gonna get hurt. So,
Okay, thank you.
One of Bethany, and then she's also commenting on, she responds as if she is representing the township.
Okay.
So maybe.
If she comes to another meeting, I'll make it clear that she's not to speak for the township.
Well, maybe.
And I did notice on Facebook, she does respond to several things, which, it's your Facebook, it's not Conewago Township
Maybe a
Facebook.
letter would be more, something to maintain.
Okay. Michelle Lookenbob?
Hi, Michelle Luckenbaugh, 809 Bowers Bridge Road. Most of us are just coming out of that hot bowl of air we had last week. And some of us probably were a little too close to fields that caught fire last week. I being one of them. So I came up with a few thoughts on that.
And you are keeping me at 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Don't worry. Everything going up in smoke. Amber waves of grain bowed beneath the weight of a July sun. Their golden heads swaying in the breath of hot, unmoving air. The kind of day when robins seek the deepest shade, when deer disappear into the cool embrace of the woods, when even the wind seems too weary to stir. Man and beast wish only for rest. Yet work must go on. A machine strains against the relentless heat, its metal heart pushed beyond its limits. Then, a spark. One brief flash, one careless moment, and suddenly the fields become a sea of fire. Flames race across the grain, devouring months of patient labor in moments, sending smoke high into the sky, already burdened by heat. The fire does not ask where the field ends and a family's home begins. It reaches for both. It threatens the nests, the burrows, the wild things with nowhere to run. It reaches for memories, for livelihoods, for futures. Only through the courage of those who answered the call, faces streaked with sweat, boots blackened by ash, standing hour after blistering hour between the flames and the homes beyond, was a disaster kept at bay. Heroes often arrive quietly, asking for little, giving everything. How easily we overlook what surrounds us each day. The fields, the forests, the songs of meadowlarks, the fox slipping unnoticed through the tall grass, the peace of knowing the land will still be there tomorrow. Until, in one terrible afternoon, we imagine what life would be if it were all gone. Perhaps that's the lesson left behind after the smoke clears. Everything we do casts a shadow far beyond ourselves. Every choice, every act of care or neglect becomes part of an inheritance we leave behind. Excuses we will offer little comfort when tomorrow's children search our faces and ask why we did not protect what had first been entrusted to us. May we not answer them with regret, but with fields still waving, wildlife still finding refuge, and a land that remembers we chose to care for it before everything went up in smoke. And I use the term smoke metaphorically. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Ann Albright?
Mary Ann Albright, 77 Providence Ranch Road.
Can everybody hear her?
Mary Ann Albright, 775
Is it on? Is the green light on?
No, I don't see no green.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you. So, I appreciate Michelle's every time coming up here with her poems. I'm kind of different, I'm with preschool background. I sing to my grandson now, Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm, there was a data center, there was a warehouse, E-I-E-I-O. It is terrible what this community has become. And as I said in October, you are the gatekeepers, and I need you to do your jobs. So I talked at PennDOT's, this has to do with Cloverleaf, Eric Heiner, about Cloverleaf Road. He stated that the warehouses on Cloverleaf did not have approval by PennDOT. He stated that it was asked that a traffic light if you could have a traffic light on the trail, and he said that cannot happen because obviously it's too close to the highways light. He stated that after he talked to the township about the traffic light and denied that, he reviewed the situation. He said no one called back to remedy the situation. So he said that a light could go on the trail, but it would have to go towards the 83 diner. So I don't know the trail, southwest, whatever.
Mark and I are in discussion with that now,
Okay, well,
of moving the road.
okay. So that was kinda where we were, and I was told by Josh that I was free to call Eric. Then I was told by Daryl to call PennDOT, which I did. I kinda do, I'm not afraid to do the grunt work. I also was told that a private company by Eric, that they are responsible and they are putting in that extra lane to the 83. Who is that developer?
It's, North Point from Manchester Township,
Okay,
where the new police station is,
okay,
that developer.
okay. Well, if you put that extra lane in there, the thing that bothers me is there's people who don't have, there's no, you can't turn on red. So people they don't stop, obviously, off the highway. So for me to get out of Cloverleaf and the other people to get out of Cloverleaf, if you got a continuous path to there, we're never going to get out of there. So, it's gonna be further congestion. Now back to the data center. I don't know if you can disclose this or not, but did you have to sign NDAs?
No,
We've never seen any of these.
no.
Okay. Okay. And when you look at the rezoning map, I think a hard conversation needs to come into Stonegate Village. I don't know if you noticed, but it goes around them. And I knew when this all started, I even told my husband, I said, watch, we fight against Bowers Bridge and against Klingler's property. I said, you know where it's going. It's going in the backyard, don't you? But I still did a good fight, and I kinda try to represent and listen to everybody in the township. Matter of fact, some people I didn't get a call before I even came in here. Somebody was concerned about surveying going on right now from Cloverleaf. Do you know what that was about?
Do you know, Mark, of any survey?
No.
I do, it's they're looking at gas line improvements.
Okay.
So they're looking at replacing the gas main in in Susquehanna Trail.
Okay. Okay, I can get back to them. And I have to reiterate what Sheree said. I do get a lot of calls, and a lot of people, they said they don't want retribution from the township. So there is, and I don't care, I'm gonna tell you. And I always spoke my mind, my passions and everything. So it gets me in trouble, I know that. But I think that you do need to be aware that there are some people that are a little afraid to speak up. And that trust has been burnt a little bit here in the township. I know you're working hard to reestablish that, but, we really need to go a little bit harder at that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll close the floor and we'll continue with the meeting. Oh,
Yeah. Concisely,
okay, what do you have?
just.
Can you use the mic, please, so we can hear?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Unlike before, this will be short. I'm only adding this because I believe context. 2 months ago, I was back there doing my normal thing, Bethany walked in. Sometime throughout that night, she did state to me quietly, of course, no longer with the township. But if there's things that you have questions about, something I can add context, you might not understand, how things happen, take place, ask. It's the least I can do. It's the right thing to do. She said that in passing to me. So I know there's people in this township that actually have taken, we'll just say umbrage with me. Or, I'm trying to say remain neutral, remain civil. And we know there's a whole hoopla back and forth, and I don't need to get on this. But sooner or later, Loretta, you said you wanted to move, but it was civility. And I'm just gonna say it. Even if someone mistreats me, I'm gonna try and take that high road. Okay, but I want civility. And sooner or later, one of us, no matter who we are in this township, has a choice. Do we escalate an ongoing problem, or we try and de-escalate it? So, for what it's worth, she did give me that disclaimer. I can't speak for the rest of you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, the adoption of the agenda is prepared.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as prepared. I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the previous minutes. Everybody have a chance to review them?
Yes.
Any corrections,
No.
additions? Do I hear a motion to accept the
I'll
June
make a-
26th?
I'll make a motion to approve, June 26th, minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Planning and zoning. Okay, do we have anything there?
Nothing.
Nothing, okay. And if you notice, we don't have our, TVs up and running tonight, but we will have them at the next meeting. The reports, we had the, building reports and the, police report. Okay. So for the police reports, we were actually down for, the last month, 159 calls. And they were basically, because of, being called about the truck traffic. So they were down 194 calls. So total for the year, the entire department, when I'm getting this report, and if I say we, I mean Northern, York County Regional Police. So, year to date, they're down 244 calls. And Conewago Township alone is down 282. So that's really good. Right, Jeremy? My allergies are bad again. Okay, on June the 20th, Engine Company had a concert to benefit the department, and they want to construct a remembrance memorial garden for the fallen officers. That's going to be in at the new police station. The main musical artist was Dustin Lynch, and it was a great night. We had a little bit of rain, but it was a beautiful night. They showed pictures of all the fallen officers, and they no more than introduced everybody in the family, and they gave them a plaque. And by that time, it stopped raining, and this gives me chills, but a rainbow came out. It was really moving. You were there, Jeremy, you were there, yeah. Okay, street rods. I don't have a lot to report on, the reports for tonight, because there was a lot of other activities. The street rod nationals were held June the 5th at 7. There were 15 arrests, 1 felony, 12 misdemeanors, 2 warrants were served, and 110 traffic citations, and 25 written warnings. Also, to mark your calendar, on August the 4th, the first Tuesday of the month in August, is National Night Out. And it's held up at the Dover Fair Company, right off the square in Dover. Everything's free for that evening, all kind of food and entertainment, so just come on out. Last week at your college, Chief Lash facilitated a panel discussion involving the FBI Director, Kash Patel. He was in town for the meeting. And at the last meeting, I swore in Officer Jacqueline Huffman. Jacqueline is originally from Dillsburg. She spent 4 years as a police officer in Ohio. She started with Northern Regional on June the 6th. Also, I presented a Chief's Commendation to Officer Tim McHugh for handling a robbery in Dover Township. Let's see. And I guess it was last week, Northern Regional hosted a York County Safety Collaboration chaplain training. The training is to certify chaplains that will be working with police departments throughout the county. 3 cadets, Tyler Batsowski, Joseph Rodriguez, and Luis Mendoza will graduate, well, they already graduated on June 26th from the police academy. And I suppose I'll be swearing them in next month. So we should be up to our full count, which is, I think, 68 at this point. 69. And the headquarters at 1445 East Canal Road will be auctioned off on Thursday, July 23rd. I guess none of us will be there. At 1700 hours, which is 5 o'clock. Stearns Auction will conduct the auction. There are several people that are interested in it. The 911 Center was one of them. They wanted to use it as an annex. I think the high school was kind of interested for an office building, and some other places. And let's see, that's basically all I have. You okay with that? Okay.
I didn't see a building report.
I didn't either. Oh, the permits are right here.
The permits are
Okay,
right
the
here.
permits are right here.
It is?
Yeah, it's, there's sideways. Yeah.
Could you tell me about it?
Yes. John, you know page number? Page number.
Oh, yeah, okay, oh, just a small.
There you go.
Okay. The other comment.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Do you want to read them? Do you want
I'll
to
just
check
go
it
with
out?
that. It's only, it's not many.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the, police report and the building report.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jeremy, you have anything to add? Okay. Okay, the treasurer's report for June. Everything is really good on this. Thank you, Aaron. Looked real good. So, does anybody have any questions?
No,
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report for June.
no, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Are we gonna see them on the internet? You guys talked about putting them on the website for us today?
Yes, you will. I will apologize that I forgot that last time, but I'll get things up on the website from last one. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, manager, road report?
Sure. First of all, I want to extend a big thank you to our public works crew who got Bremer Road done. It was a big job. I know we interrupted a lot of residents getting stuff in and done, but I appreciate the work they did and getting everything in and done on time. The AV system in the room, I know we talked a few meetings ago about getting it all up and done. We ran into a few little, I'll say technical issues, and that is that the cabling to run the computer that manages the system was not put into this room. So it's in a room all the way in the back of the office here. So we're having new cables put in, we're having that run up here so the computer can sit here so we can run it. And then we're having 2 microphones put in the ceiling, because often people just want to make a comment from the back of the room, from the side, nothing wrong with that, we just can't hear it on the tape. So we're putting 2 broad spectrum mics dropped out of the ceiling so we can pick those up. So then we'll be able to control everything and do it in here. So again, I was gonna get the PowerPoint on tonight, I'm like, listen, it doesn't really work great, we're trying to get it all fixed. So hopefully, we got an email last week, the parts have all been ordered, they're scheduling the time to get the techs in here, so hopefully we can get that in and get that up and running for you guys.
So Mark, they might have to be careful what they say in the audience.
Yeah, I'm gonna tune it in so I can hear whispering.
I don't whisper, I'm happy to say it.
Fair enough, no whispering.
I don't have a problem saying it.
That's true.
What's the cost of all of that?
It's around $4,000, a little over $4,000 to get the added equipment in and the cables run and the added mics and stuff. But I think it's gonna help, and then, like I said, the goal is to record the meetings and then within a day or two, post it up on the township YouTube page, so that you guys can go back and watch it, listen to it, and they'll stay up, so if you missed something, or you wanna go back and look at something that happened a few meetings ago, you'll be able to go back and listen to it again. All right, let me talk about the PennDOT and truck traffic, etc. I have, a meeting coming up here probably next week. I'm trying to coordinate it with District 8 Maintenance Office, which is down the trail right there by Route 30, you know where I'm talking about. We are gonna do a drive-through of Susquehanna Trail in the township, because that road is being projected to be turned back to the state. So state road turned it over to the township, now it's taking the township road and turning it back to the state because of the way it parallels 83. You know about the Canal Road Betterment Project, and it's on the agenda tonight to look at that agreement and get authorization to get that signed. You look at Exit 28. All of those are tied together. So we're trying to look at the system as a whole and try to see how we can look at the entire truck system. If you look at Canal Road, it's a Bull Road. I mean, even that ties in. All of it is one big system. And the way that I learned transportation engineering and design is that you can't look at it in an intersection in isolation. You have to look at it as it affects the entire system. So, Canal Road Betterment Project, think of it as the first domino that then has to fall for all the other pieces to fall in place. So, Canal Road, getting those agreements all signed and approved, is going to affect our ability to then turn Susquehanna Trail back over to PennDOT, which affects the timing of Exit 28 and getting that right turn lane off of the southbound ramp off of 83 in and done. And it affects what may become Exit 26, which is the ramps at Canal Road at 83. So there's a whole lot of parts and pieces in there that have to happen. We work in local government. I know it drives you guys nuts. It takes so long for us to get stuff done. State's worse. I didn't say that out loud. But it takes a long time for all these projects to get queued up, to get the engineering done, and to get all the things done and improved. Okay? So I will try, and I said last time, I'll try to report back to you as often as I can on the status of all these projects, because they're all interrelated, they're all working together. We are working with PennDOT on a regular basis now to try to get things queued up and try to get things moving, okay? So, traffic timing, the timing at Trail and Canal, I know it frustrates a lot of us, we're working on it. That's part of the Canal Betterment Program. The timing of the lights up at Exit 28, looking at that, trying to get them all done, trying to figure out how we can do this whole thing together. But I just want to let you guys know, I hear you. I hear you when I drive around, you see the trucks. I tell people that I was coming back from the north side, coming across over the bridge, and the pickup truck had broken down on the bridge. Well, the trucks heading northbound couldn't turn and head southbound on the trail because the truck was right there. And that's all it takes is one little thing like that, and the whole system backs up. So I hear you, we're gonna keep working, we are also part of the countywide, truck study that's looking at how we do things countywide. It's a big ask, it's a big system, but we're gonna keep working on it, okay? And that's it, thank you.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Something to put in there if you don't mind. I
Give
travel
your
back-
name and address, please.
Jason Shu, 85 Howard Bridge Road. I travel Butter Road the whole way back across the Strines Town. And, you know, the people, they have a lot to deal with up there at that intersection, so, I mean, they're not complaining for no reason. I don't even come out that way anymore. The trucks used to let you out, they were the ones that would let you out. Most of the time, with personal vehicles, they just cut you off, but the tractor trailers will let you out, but now there's such a volume of them there. They're not letting you out anymore, because they don't wanna sit there any longer than we do. Now, you can cut across where the unifying stuff was and come out that little light, but then you're sitting there in a mile of traffic before you ever get to Shine Town. So I actually cut the whole way down for 5 years, and go out, and I hit down and run it the whole way back around the backside. And that's quicker than just running Butter Road the whole way out there and sitting there in Shine Town right now. I mean, you sit there literally for
It's tough.
15, 20 minutes. Most of the time I turn right and go down, I circle around Sheets and come back up there and drive, I go that way. But it's definitely tough down there right now.
I go Green Spring and then go over Sheep Ridge Road and come back up the trail, rather than go the other way. It's beautiful back there though.
Yeah.
It's a nice drive.
Don't say that loud. Too many people do that.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Solicitors report.
I do not have anything additional to add this evening.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Derek? Engineers report.
We've got some bills to pay.
Yeah, we do.
So, and solicitor, you can chime in on this. There's one, we have one invoice on there for the stone. The amount is not correct on the agenda. I sent you guys over a preliminary, and then I think on the second, I sent over everything. So we have some minor, just minor clerical things going on with the agenda. One is a change order I'd like to add and pay tonight. The other one is just a correction of the amount that's shown on the agenda.
Okay.
I think you probably need a motion to add that change order to the agenda, and you would like to do that tonight. What's the change order that
That is change order number 1 for, excuse me, change order number 2 for paving materials.
Okay, and that is A on the, agenda?
You would be adding it as 10E.
Okay. All right, so I hear a motion to add the change order, adjustment on, 10E of the engineer's report.
I'll make a motion to add, change order number 2 for the paving materials, including now the 10E on the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay. So, let's go down and act on these, bouncing back and forth here between my agenda and my email list, so bear with me. 10A is change order number 2 for the paving placement. So you'll see these all kind of join together. We have had some good compliments going on tonight about the work on Bremer Road. Unfortunately, to achieve that work that was done up there was significant more material required than what was originally estimated by the township in the bid packet. So we have to do a change order for the amount of material that was purchased, which is one contract, and then your other contract is with Kinsley for the placement of that material. So you'll see those change orders kind of go together. So the first one we'll act on is the pavement placement. That's a change order of an additional $30,255.84.
Yeah, approve the change order.
Yeah, unless you guys wanna do these in a batch, it's up to you.
No, I would do it individually.
I'll make a motion to approve change order, that's number 2.
Change order 2.
For $30,255.84.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
The first change order was just the wage rates, you didn't have any cost information.
Okay.
Okay, so with that change order approved, you can now act on the application for payment number 1, which will be the final, this will be your only application for payment for paving placement. And that's an amount of $271,255.80.
I'll make a motion to approve the pavement placement, of the final amount of $271,255.84.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, the next one is for the stone. The amount on the agenda is unfortunately incorrect, that was my error when I was typing. That bill is actually for $16,680.63. That's a pretty big contract you have right now for stone, so that's just a little piece of it.
What was that amount again?
$16,680.63.
I'll make a motion to approve the stone for $16,680.63.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, I'd like to skip item 10D so that we can act on recently added 10E first, which
Okay.
is the change order for paving materials. That change order is for $38,180.22.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
Yep. Make a motion to approve, 10E, which is the change order, in the amount of, $38,180.22.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
I'm getting there.
that's the E.
Now we're going back up this, the D.
Correct, now we're gonna do the paving materials application for payment 1. Let me make sure I have the right one. That's one that changed. That is for $539,165.72.
You say it again?
Hang on, we're showing 479 on the
479,
agenda.
Senate 13.
13.
Hang on a second. Yeah, it is 539,165.72.
165, 76, 165, 72.
So Derek, why is that different?
So what's different is there was some, again, we pulled the bills together as part of the kind of preliminary agenda and sent it over. I revised everything on 7/2 and said that, but unfortunately the revised numbers and items were included in the agenda.
Okay.
So my apologies, it was later in the day, but.
And that was for paving material.
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve paving material payment of $539,165.72.
I'll second.
I have a question on that part of it.
Okay.
Does that include, like, this is going through and I know it still goes on today. Brian Tillenhast works for Kinsley. I've been on multiple jobs with him to where, the job gets dicked off a little bit, pardon my language, but, the trucks will sit there and we have to wait and fill out a weight slip. And when that weight slip gets, filled out, Brian and them, they don't wanna pay. So it goes back to the blacktop plant, and the operator who was running the plant that day will have to revise a payout ticket for the trucks. 9 times out of 10, it goes back and it gets kicked back on the township. Is that the extra cost that keeps getting added because of,
On the wait time.
yeah, the wait time for the trucks. Cause Kinsley doesn't wanna pay the wait time, you guys don't wanna pay the wait time, but the trucks can't sit there for nothing, cause they're burning the fuel. I know, cause I was one of them for over 20 years. And that fee just keeps accruing and accruing and accruing. But yet, is it being put onto the township
No.
to re-enter this fee?
No, the invoice for the materials, is just based on tonnage.
Okay.
There's no additional cost on there. The issue that was occurred up there, I think when the township estimated how many tons of asphalt they need for the road, I do this all the time too, it's, 2 inches over the whole square yardage. If you've driven Bremer, you can see that.
Oh, I know Bremer Road, I made Bremer Road the
Yeah.
last time, I was on that
So
job.
there's some areas of Bremer that end up getting built up 4 or 5 inches, so they
Correct.
burn through a lot of extra tonnage.
Yep, and the last time when I was on that, when Bremer Road got paved, I actually had 38 hours of wait time on that job, because Kinsley likes to spread it out, because they're making hand over foot for
Okay.
paving them jobs.
All right, thank you. On, we already heard a motion and heard a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Derek, anything else there?
I think I have the reduction here for the Cloverleaf Business Park. So I guess that's under your new agenda, for your new items. So I don't have anything else under the engineer's report.
Yeah, go ahead. It's on the
Okay.
business plan.
Okay. So you'll see that in your packet. This is for improvements that have been completed to date that we currently have bonded on that site. The original amount of bonding on that site was a little up over $3 million. We're recommending that about 2.3 of that bond be released, that's $2,312,915 be released, and that will provide a remaining balance on the site of $798,820.00. So your motion this evening should be to recommend a bond reduction in the amount of $2,312,915.
I'll make a motion to, reduce the bond for the Cloverleaf Business Park surety, by, $2.312 million $915.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is that it, Derek?
Good for me.
Okay, good. Okay, new business, resolution 2026. Sorry.
I have a question, I'm so sorry.
And your name and address, please.
Kelly Price, 220 Butter Road. I have a question for you, Derek.
Sure.
And when you see the errors in the adjustments, and you guys approve them, this is just a learning curve, okay? What, do you go back then to the treasurer and say, because what if she says, I'm sorry, we don't have the allotted amount for that? So how does that, you're making adjustments, you guys are saying second motion, first motion, whatever motion. But what if you get a contract and it is adjusted, do you first clear it with her and then bring it to here for the approval? Or do you make the adjustments without getting the clarification from her first?
Okay, so on this particular project, all I'm doing is helping the township with the paperwork. The township public works crews who's directing Kinsley where to put the material and how much. So I can't, typically, when I'm running a project, yes, if I have a contract change order that's above and beyond, we would negotiate the price. I would take that price to usually Mark as the township manager and say,
Okay.
we have this change order, are we good to go? Or, hey, this is what it's gonna be, you're gonna have to find the money.
Okay.
On this job, I can't say that I did because I was not directing the contractor to place the additional material. That was in my purview on this.
Okay, yeah, I was just, cause there was,
Sure.
some of it was small amounts, but other was
Oh,
large.
yeah, it's
Change,
a
and I'm like,
big-
what, wait a minute, we're not even asking the treasurer first,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
okay.
No, it's down, the material's down.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm really just administering the contract on behalf of the township. This is something the former township manager did internally without my help, so I'm just helping with the paperwork end of things as Mark gets seated.
And in, our yearly, budget, there's a part we go through where we, plan for dollar amounts, for large dollar amounts, for the pavings of certain roads. So you'll hear that, especially in October, in our public budget.
And we allocate so much and we don't, underestimate it.
No, we over.
Over, okay. Yeah, or just, we have like emergency funds that
Mhm.
in case of a contract or
Exactly.
something happens.
That was a good
Okay, I'm
question.
just, yeah, I just
Thank
want to
you.
make sure, she's like, no, wait a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Part of my frustration is like things are said and then there's no follow-up. And like, we're told that a park might be in the works, but then we don't hear anything more about it. And then just like Cloverleaf, you're talking to, I don't know if you're talking to Eric or who, but like when I mentioned about that curve and maybe putting a stop lane in there, you said, yes, we're talking about that and that's in the works. So for me, like I haven't heard any more about the park. I guess what I'm frustrated about is, like when you bring up those stuff and there's no follow-up, I don't know where it sits.
Okay.
So that kind of, like when you push that out there, that kind of is a trust issue for me too.
Well, and what we said about the park, we are looking for land for a park. We don't want to give out where they are or anything in case there's a realtor comes in and wants to purchase it out from under us. But we're still working and we're still looking. We don't have anything definite. We have nothing to tell you right now. But as soon as we do, as soon as we have something preliminary, we'll certainly let you know.
Okay, and then like at Cloverleaf, is that, like when you say that's in the works?
Well, Mark and I were just talking about it. So this has to do with his overall plan for all the trucks and all the roads that we have to look at them all together.
Okay, so then Cloverleaf is the one that's the grant.
Right, and when I met with the PennDOT rep that we talked with, I brought up all these things, it's kind of as a shotgun approach, here are some of the hot issues that we see. He agreed with all of them, saying, yes.
I think we had like 5 of them. That
Yeah, they see that all of them are critical issues, and that's why we're trying to take a step back, look at the entire system, and where to get the most efficiency that we can do immediately, and then start planning long-term, because if you talk to some of these bigger projects, you're talking 10 years out, minimum sometimes longer, to get them scheduled, funded, in the system, up to the time where they do the engineering and planning. So it takes a while. So we want to start looking at these things and saying, okay, here is, overused expression, but here's the low-hanging fruit. Here's the ones that we can do right now. They're gonna have some improvement. The right turn lane on the southbound 83 at the ramp there. I think that's gonna add some benefit to it, some stacking, and get some traffic off there and get some things moving. Does it then affect Cloverleaf Road getting out? It does. So we have to look at that. So trying to then look at this whole thing, model the whole system and say, hey, where can we start making improvements to start adjusting this? And where do we start planning now for the big stuff so that we can get that into the queue?
Is the exit, the one that?
The one at that Canal Road, yeah.
Yeah, I must tell you, I've been in this township forever, and I remember going to school board meetings, and that was Dennis Hoffman's number one, he was the superintendent.
Yep.
He was like, that's gonna go, and that was promised, and that was a way to, that's when they brought in MRTA, so we could get, industry into the northeast. So, that is slow moving. I mean, I've heard both sides, it's not going in, it is going in. So, and that's been,
long time ago.
that was a long time.
And we don't honor the learner system anymore. We don't encourage industry to come in. Okay, new business. Resolution 2026-13, the moratorium on data center applications. Mark, do you want to explain what that is for us?
Sure, so in working with Brett Flower, our special counsel on the data center ordinance, one of the concerns that we have is in taking the due time, and I mean that all due respect, taking time to make sure we get it right. Someone doesn't come in and slip an application in, and they apply under the uses not provided for clause in the municipality's planning code. They could come in and then they set the parameters on how, when, and where they want to build a data center. The problem that a lot of municipalities are dealing with right now is data centers are a specific land use, and if you don't mention them in your code, then a developer can come in and saying, hey, you have a deficiency in your code, we can come in and we'll just put it anywhere we want. So to protect ourselves, one, we have to get an ordinance in, but two, this says we will accept no applications for data centers for the next 6 months, 180 days, so that we can have time, we don't feel rushed, and we don't feel pressured to get an ordinance out there that isn't right. So that's why we're doing this. So this is just a resolution that says for the next 180 days, I know Sherry, you had sent me some legislation that's in process that also allows that. We don't need to wait for that. We can put it in right now, and the legal term, I'll look at it and see, correct me if I'm wrong, is, it's a curative amendment brought on by the municipality. We're saying we're curing an ill in our zoning ordinance by saying, give us 180 days to fix this gap, I'll call it, not an error, but a gap in the ordinance so that we can get this thing done. So that's what the resolution does tonight. It gives us 180 days to really have time to properly vet this thing out and get it done.
Why only 6 months? Why not 2 years?
That's what the law allows.
Yeah. And
That's all we're allowed to do by law.
Yeah, and you can't extend it, you can't ask for another 6 months. It's 6 months and it's done. And I think you can only ask for that once every 3 years.
It's once every 3 years,
Yeah,
correct?
once every 3 years.
There's state legislation that's coming in that's attempting to put a moratorium on some of the data centers, especially the massive data centers. And I know there's some federal legislation moving around, but again, we still have the power to do this part for us, to say, hey, nothing until we get something in place. So that's what this is. It gives us time to get this in place. That's what this resolution is tonight, is to give us that 6 month period where it stops anybody from just throwing an application at us and getting in prior to the ordinance being adopted.
And that takes us up pretty much till January for us to get done.
November, I think it is.
Yeah, no doubt you guys have probably
December,
seen.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys no doubt have seen the effects of the data center now are hitting pocketbooks, which is gonna start stirring up the economy, because of the RAM, chip issues. All of the electronics are skyrocketing in cost, which now is hitting the consumer pocketbook, and it's a direct result of data center, usage of their computers, are pulling down so much that it's affecting the network, or affecting the bandwidth of the chips being produced. So cars are gonna go up, all technology, anything related to technology. In fact, I think there was an article last week that, Apple announced its first $10,000 MacBook Pro because it jumped prices massively. So, I think this is you're gonna see more and more of everybody maybe potentially pumping the brakes to say, we gotta get this under control.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, do I hear any motion? Are there any more questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to accept resolution 2026-13?
I'll make a motion to accept resolution, 2026-13.
And I'll second that. So we don't need all in favor, and Brian abstains. Okay, thank you. Authorization for staff to issue a new trash bid. And Erin, you've been working on that?
Yes, I think we have a good bid put together, and we're ready to put that out to local trash haulers in our area. Should see a good number of bids, and, yeah, I think we're good to go on that one.
Okay. And is that gonna be advertised then?
Yes, that will be advertised, it has to be advertised in the newspaper twice.
Yeah, so we're gonna push it out as best we can. Legally, we have to advertise it twice in the newspaper no more than 30 days, no less than 10, has to be twice in that time frame. But we're also gonna send it out to all the haulers, the trash haulers that we know, let them know ahead of time. Trust me, they're looking at it, they know the cycles that everyone's on, so they're looking at it. So we're hoping to get as many bids as we can.
The York County Solid Waste Authority, which is where all of our trash goes, provides a really nice list of all the haulers who are in the area and their contacts, so I'll be reaching out to every one of them personally to let them know, hey, we have a trash bid, please bid.
And Erin's the expert in that department.
Unfortunately.
Who was your previous employer?
Oh, God.
When's that take effect?
So we're gonna get the bid out as soon as we're, have the approval and everything, and then we are looking to have it finalized everything by September, so that we can have we'll have a January 1 start with whoever our hauler is. To answer Loretta's question, my previous position was with Penn Waste as the contract administrator for them.
Yeah.
You're the enemy.
Yeah, thanks, Loretta.
So that's why she knows who to reach out to. So before, we only had two bids, two people actually bid, but what was the other one? Republic. They sent us a letter that said.
Yeah,
we
they
bid.
suck. They suck, because they're over in East Manchester.
Okay.
I'm curious about that. Is there room in that bid that includes lower options for
Yes, there is, service will pretty much, we're gonna try and keep the same services, so those of you who utilize trash service more, have families, whatever, you'll still have that. Those of you who utilize less trash, you put your one bag out a week or whatever, you'll still have that. Yeah, same bulk item, yard waste 6 times a year, that kind of thing.
You seem a little bit more optimistic about, getting more options, which is good. That's good. Last time.
We had one,
It was
and we
very
had,
nice.
it was take it or leave it, but
Yeah.
we couldn't because it's one of those unfunded mandates
Yeah.
that we had to do. Okay, so do you need authorization to issue it or to advertise?
The authorization to put the bid out.
Okay.
Then, once we open the bids, which I think the bid opening date is set for
September?
August 27th is the bid opening right now, and then September 1st would be the date that we bring it back to the public meeting to award the bid.
Okay,
So, good.
I'll make a motion to, for the township staff to issue a new trash bid and advertise it.
And I'll second that.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, authorization to sign a Canal Road Betterment Program Agreement.
All right, so as I've been talking about earlier, this is, was brought on by the North Point Development, again, it's the one down in Manchester Township, right there where the new police building is. Part of their agreement is to look at some of the improvements to the road infrastructure in and around the area. So the Canal Road Betterment Program is this, first amendment to it. The original one is already done. This is an amendment to it that affects here in the township. We've been working, and we meet about every 2 weeks to talk through minutia details of everything within this contract. This contract, if approved tonight and approved by the other 2 municipalities, East Manchester and Manchester, will then be the start of the getting all these improvements done and finished. So, after Derek's been on this committee a whole lot longer than I have, Derek, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to this, but getting this in tonight, I think is going to be a big step.
I will emphasize the word minutia.
Yes. So it's, no offense, Evan, there's been a lot of attorneys involved in getting this just right to where it is now. I think it's good. CPA has gone through it. They've been in the meetings with us, so we feel comfortable that we can get authorization to get it signed tonight. I think all the other townships, the other 2 townships are doing it this month as well in their meetings, so that we can get this in and done, and then they can start moving forward on design and engineering.
I think what I can add at a high level, and we may have covered this at previous meetings, but it's kind of led to this point, is some of the actions that we've had to take with additional agreements and conversations that seem like they've taken longer than they should have. Mark brought up North Point, and I'm not pointing a finger at North Point, but the fact is, the Canal Road Betterment Group was together and moving forward before North Point came in as a developer. So when North Point came in Manchester Township and started contributing to this project, a lot of those kind of agreements, the scope of the project changed a little bit because we now have Regional Way that wasn't in the original plan. So the addition of Regional Way and then basically adding another big developer to the table caused us to go back and have to renegotiate a lot of the contract terms. I think we're gonna get a better project here at the end, but that has caused a lot of the conversation you've heard here over the last year, I'd say, at these meetings about the Canal Road project. So it's all good, we're getting there, but it's messy.
My name's Danny Resser, I'm from Bowers Creek Road. Are any of these improvements gonna, serve the light down right from the church where these truckers have to make a left to get on Canal Road? That's terrible there.
Yeah, so there's light improvements, there's geometric improvements to the intersection itself, that's all gonna happen. There's gonna be significant changes in the intersection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna be turning lanes.
Yeah.
With the lights.
Yeah.
Okay, good question.
We got one more, hold on. Right. Yes, sir.
Bob Savage, 736 East Canal. From what I looked at online, this Canal Road Betterment Project only pertains to the traffic circle and up to Canal Road, or Greenbrier. They're gonna make a little bit of.
That's a different project.
That's the other.
Sorry to cut you off, but this Canal Road Betterment project is from the Susquehanna Trail going east, towards East Manchester
So there's
Township.
a couple different ones, and when I look at that one online,
So,
I haven't seen that online, this one online yet.
no, this one's a little, there's no website for this one, like there is the Bull Canal Road intersection, which I assume you're talking about. So the kind of difference in the project is that intersection improvement that you're seeing at Bull and Canal, that's being driven and designed by PennDOT. So that is a state project by PennDOT's engineers. This Canal Road project is actually a local project. This is being driven by the townships and the developers, and we're basically getting PennDOT's permission to build it. So it's a little different because we are impacting a large, state route here, but it isn't that dissimilar from any of the widening that occurred on Locust Point Road, for instance, that was paid for by those developers. With a local project, you don't get those websites, you don't get the public outreach, it's more of a locally driven project.
why is it called the Betterment Project? There's two Betterment projects for Canal Road.
I didn't know that
And then
I didn't know
there's
that's what they were calling it.
Exit 24 or whatever that exit thing is.
26,
There's a whole
yeah.
website on that.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know they were calling the Bull Canal the.
No, I think the other one is the one over Manchester Township that's already been mostly finished, it's out through the industrial area, that part of Canal Road.
Mhm.
So this is Canal Road Betterment Part 2, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we picked the wrong name.
Yeah, really.
5 years ago.
We had some really great questions tonight,
Sure,
thank you.
yeah.
Okay,
Did they get that worked out that the township did not have to sign the back? Some of the improvements there, they wanted us to. They got that worked out, I haven't been on the last couple of meetings here, I've been away, but.
Yeah.
They did, okay.
There's been pushback.
okay, do I hear an authorization to sign them? Any other, comments or any questions you guys have?
I'll make a motion to authorize and sign the Canal Road Betterment Program Agreement.
Before I agree to that, what stage does this put us at now? Is there gonna be more authorizations to come?
There'll be more authorizations as the project is bid and awarded and we move into construction. This lays the framework for the financing and the scope.
Now it comes back to the township as far as the financing part of it. I mean, we're not on the hook for any of that.
No. No, that's, in the agreement, it discussed the trustee, which is council trust in this case, for the developer, so they're funding the trustee will pay the bills. And then the bridge part is separate.
Yeah,
That's state.
because some of the meetings I was in on, we were going round and round with them about, they wanted us to back.
Well, that was the,
Utilities.
so yeah, they weren't looking for the township to pay for any construction, they wanted the township to basically cover the escrow for the design required to relocate the utilities.
Right.
And that was just the developer being stubborn and us saying, nice try, we're not doing it.
And that went round and round for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that. You got it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Fox Run, is that where you come in, Barry?
That's where I come in.
You sat here all that time, really quiet.
I love municipal meetings. I was gonna say, I don't have a life, I go to these almost like somebody did, so. First of all, do you guys have plans? I have some like,
We have.
I have 11 by 17 copies here. I can hand out.
Okay. Got money?
Thank you.
You did have this.
So. So for those that don't know me, I'm Byron Travel Short Brown Associates. What I am presenting tonight is phase 4 of Fox Run Heights. This is the last phase. It is 44 single family units. Again, it's just basically the extension of Christina and extension of Douglas and a few of the other roads out there. So this is the, I would say, the northern portion of the project. We have received CSA's comment letter and York County Planning Commission's comment letter and addressed. They were pretty much very few plan changes. It was add some right-of-way dimensions, etc. Most of the open comments at this point have to deal with owner signature, engineer, surveyor signature, posting sureties, and you know, that's primarily it. Let's see if there's anything else here. So again, we had, in our opinion, we had no plan changes, more administrative. We already have the NPDS permit. We have York County Conservation District approval. They've been working under that permit through the first 3 phases. So we don't need anything from them. There is no state permits necessary. So again, this is pretty simple final plan at this point.
I think the only questions you guys had were the roundabout, I mean, not the roundabouts, but the cul-de-sac. You wanted to make sure you were big enough.
Eyebrow here at the end.
Yeah, that was all worked out as part of the preliminary plan, so, you know, I'll take a minute just so everybody doesn't think we're being laissez-faire about 44 homes going in. So this process has a preliminary plan that was approved at the beginning of the development. The preliminary plan laid out the road network, the location of the lots, all the stormwater management, basically everything to be built there. So that preliminary plan was approved quite a few years ago. Now the developer comes back and actually finalizes, they do final plans for each phase as they move forward and propose to build the house. So they've already been working on constructing the utilities and the road network up there, but currently the lots don't exist. The final plan creates the building parcels and allows the developer to then apply for building permits and actually build the house on. As part of the final plan is when the developer will actually post security to bond any public improvements that haven't already been completed as part of the preliminary. This is also where we get to collect our rec fees for every lot that goes in that's residential use. So there's really not a ton to talk about here because we've already flushed out the location of the development. We knew where this road was going. We knew where the houses were going. The developer's coming to us now saying we're ready to build.
Where is this?
This is off of Graffius Road, right across from where the treatment plant is there. Yep.
Was it 44 homes total or 44 more?
44 more in
Yeah,
this
44
phase.
in this
So how many is it altogether then? So I'm trying to picture.
Give me 1 second. It's, I think it's like 128.
Yeah.
It's either 128 or 132.
There's 130 lots, but I think a couple of them are community lots.
Yeah, 2 of them
They're
are.
all accessible road by Gropius Road.
Correct.
Yeah, there's 2 accesses, they're already existing on the Gropius Road, and we have an emergency access if ever needed out into the mobile home park.
On the wall.
That's why I was wondering, what, is there gonna be an emergency?
It's an emergency access.
Yeah, it's just emergency, so that, yeah, it'll be, I don't think it's gated. I don't know if it's gated or
Yeah, I think
it's grass
it's
gated.
gated, yeah.
Gated.
Yeah.
Which gate?
We put
The
a gate
emergency
on-
access.
Emergency, yes.
It will be gated, yes.
One of those jumps.
Sure. Oh, I got what you're saying. No, the road. We're putting a gate, no, sorry.
We're
We're putting a gated
eliminating
community. The access, yeah, the emergency access will be gated. What's that, ma'am?
I think it's 100.
I think it's 100, yeah, there's 130 lots, it's 128 homes, because some of the lots will be retained by the HOA. There's a playground, that was put in as part of the development, and there's also some common areas that have the stormwater management that won't be privately owned.
So everything's done with this, all the administrative things?
There are some administrative items left that, as is typical at this point, the signing of the plan, the posting of the security, the payment of the rec fees. It's all in my last letter that's Byron referenced, so I think you can conditionally approve this plan based on the outstanding comments in my letter.
Okay. You guys have any questions?
No.
Any questions for Baron? You okay, Baron?
I'm fine.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the Fox Run Phase 4 final land development plan with the administrative comments?
Very good.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve, Fox Run, Phase 4 final land development plan with, the conditions outlined by C.S. Davidson.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Will we not see you again?
Hey, I'm always looking, if you have a developer who needs work done, I'll be happy to do more work in the township.
What's everybody thinking? Let's not go there, okay. The 2-year agreement, for the traffic signal service by Signal Service.
So this is just, we've been using Signal Service for a long time now. The agreement expires into this year. It's just renewing it again for the 2 years. They maintain all the traffic signals here in town.
We looked at other providers potentially, or are they the best?
I've used them in other places I've worked.
The market for this service is becoming very scarce. There are a lot of companies that have, the maintenance of signals used to be like a mom and pop business almost in a lot of cases. I think Signal Services is probably the most local and moderate sized business around to hire for something like this, unless you're going with like a PennDOT provider and you get into some big dollars. So, yeah, I mean, yes, you can go out for RFP, but, I've worked with Signal Service in a number of municipalities. I have no complaints.
Okay. Okay, do I hear a motion to sign the 2-year agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2-year agreement with Signal Service.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Homelessness Coalition.
So we received a letter from, York County Regional Police Department, asking for as many municipalities as are willing to work together to join together in an effort to work on a regional plan to deal with homelessness in the area. As far as I know, and Loretta and I have talked about this, I don't know that there's a big problem here now, but and I've seen this happen, when you have the inner ring municipalities do something, then the problem just, instead of being resolved, it just shifts. So I see it as a need to work together. Let's create a large area where, I mean, at all due respect, they're still human beings, and let's try to treat them with respect and find a way to manage this, rather than just turn a blind eye and say, we don't want them here, we don't want to deal with them. So This is just an ask to say, hey, can we all work together in a regional effort to try to look at this as a broader issue rather than each individual municipality try to deal with it on their own?
Yeah, and I know Northern Regional, you have some homeless issues, but I think our township is fairly, that we know of,
Correct.
that we don't have a big issue. I know Manchester Township and some other ones do.
Yeah, and just because we don't now, again, I think let's be proactive and get as part of the team and look at this holistically.
Okay. And Mary Ann, you had a question?
My sister-in-law worked for the school district, and she had to record attendances, and she had to give, like if a child didn't show up, truant, that type of thing. It is a big problem.
It is, yeah.
It is Northeastern.
Yeah, you can get a good list of names from them.
Yeah, if you call Northeastern, I'm sure they would share that with you.
Sure.
But you got that Motel JJ, it was right by the highway. That was, she had a lot of calls. So I think it's worth investigating.
Yeah.
And, I would like to think our township would be.
Proactive and,
Yes, I would.
okay,
Yeah, agreed.
great.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to, participate in the homelessness coalition.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Okay, we have a big announcement, and she's here tonight, so Mark, do you wanna do the honors?
I would love to. We put out a request for applications for a new zoning and code officer. We read through a lot of resumes, we shortlisted, we interviewed, and lo and behold, out pops Rebecca March. Rebecca, you want to stand up a second? So we are pleased to say that tonight we are extending an offer to Rebecca as our zoning and code officer. If approved, her first day will be July 20th. Rebecca.
Rebecca March. Rebecca, do you wanna tell them, a little bit about yourself? Well, I mean, just.
Put her on the spot.
Nobody mentioned the vote.
Okay, now.
I appreciate it.
Now she's still gonna decline her offer.
Hello, I am Becky March. I live in Dover, but was recently interviewed and in the process of being hired as the next zoning enforcement officer. My history, employment-wise, I have some law enforcement background. I did work as a police officer for 17 years in Spring Ferry County. And then after that, I worked in property management. So I'm excited to get started here in Conewago Township. I have sat in on some very contentious board of supervisor meetings in my past position in property management, and this was a breath of fresh air. I know there was a lot of difference of opinions, but everybody did remarkable, and I'm proud, and I can't wait to get here and meet all the residents and hopefully be an asset.
Okay, thank you, and welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mark, my hat comes first.
Mark, I don't know why it's taking me so long to get to that thing.
Right, you still do need a motion to
Yes,
appoint her.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion to hire Rebecca March and appoint her as the zoning officer?
I'll make a motion to approve Becky Mark for zoning officer.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you're stuck with us now. Full-time. And she's gonna work real close with Mark. Mark is a zoning officer, and she's gonna attend some classes and everything. But with her property management, she did, well, you know how that is, property management.
That's a whole other beast. Yeah. A lot of respect for you.
Yeah. Okay, other business, we have, Food Truck Friday is coming up August the 7th, and we're still looking for some more vendors and some entertainment for that. Also, the next meeting, I don't have the date here, is August, it's on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's right after National Night Out.
Yeah, National Night Out is on August the 4th, and so we always have it the very next night, which is the 5th. So if you come here Tuesday, next month Tuesday, and we're not here, just come up to Denver. All right, one other thing that I wanted to mention, there were some comments, and normally I don't comment on the Conewago community page, but I did, when we were on a vacation, and when I came back, I seen a lot of concerns about soliciting. And I just want to make you aware that soliciting is, they do have to get a permit from the township. I think it only costs you $10, is that what it is? $15, but they have to get their driver's license and they have to get the company and, you know, where they're gonna go. Homeowners Association, they do have no soliciting at a lot of them, so, so I had a guy come to my house and I asked him, I said, do you have a permit? And he said, oh yeah, here it is. And he showed me, he had a little badge on him. And I said, really? From where? And I looked at it, it was North Cadorus Township. And I said, well, this is Conewago Township. He goes, where? So he didn't even know where he was. His director just took him out and sent him out. Yeah. So I said to him, you know, you have to, first thing in the morning, you have to go out to the township and get a soliciting permit. I said, or you will be called, the police will call and, you know, stop it. Were they out?
We've had many come through.
Today, I mean.
Today? No,
Oh, yeah, because they were, Anderson or Ambassador, Windows.
Anderson.
Yeah, yeah, so I told him, and then I told him who I was, and then he was like, okay. And he went back down the driveway, but,
What do you do when you do have a solicitor that comes to your driveway, or if he comes to your house without the permit? What are the, you know, the actions that you can do against them? The reason why I'm saying this, there's quite a few of the little blacktop world gypsies that go around trying to drum up work and jobs. And take, for instance, you don't want them, because when they do come in, they do your job and do your driveway, they're gonna take about a half an inch of blacktop and just overlay it and skim it and charge you out the wazoo for this job, and it's not gonna hold. Or they're actually just gonna coat your driveway with a rubberized coating, and it still doesn't work. So what do you do when you do have one of these solicitors that show up?
and you can call the police, but till they get there, they're gonna be gone. Yeah. So it's just basically, yeah, it's just basically tell them, nope, I'm not interested, and tell them just move on.
Okay.
All right, does anybody have anything else? Does have anything?
I would like to thank the public for the outreach when we did have the fire down there on Bowers Bridge Road. There was a lot of public that brought Gatorade, water, and ice, because that was a miserable fire. It was hot. There was a bunch of us that had heat exhaustion. It was terrible. It was 102 degrees.
Dinner.
Oh, I tell you what, I was washed out all weekend.
I had a bunch of people take it to the firehouse, I called it the firehouse, and I put a post out and challenged people.
Yeah, it was on, yeah, people posted that it was a suspicious fire. It was not a suspicious fire.
It was just a farming accident, yeah.
And there was never an issue with water. We got water out of a hydrant. We didn't even, everybody was saying we poured it out of the creek. That's not true either.
Yeah, usually you don't
We
do
pulled
that,
water
yeah.
was there and actually had us hooked up to a hydrant down there near Conewago Inn.
Well, how many, tankers were there, how many engines?
There was probably 60 or 70 fire trucks there, and there was over 100 firefighters. I was the first one on the scene. I was by myself.
Oh yeah, I was working in the backyard and I seen it and the black smoke was just.
Yeah, oh yeah. But as soon as I hit Canal Road, I called it in as a large smoke column, and then they started dispatching more equipment. It was bad.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for what they did do.
Okay, Evan, Harris, Okay, if I hear nothing else, meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.